That's true. Naked Palpatine.
Oh, you pick that one. Fresh out of the clone tank, nude Palpatine is my
Well, that's the first thing I think of when you say Dark Empire Palpatine. Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier. No, I'm just kidding. It is Alex, and I'm here with another short novella by Nathan Bollingrud, which is the Lunar Gothic Trilogy 2, Cathedral of the Drowned, which I was happy to see is a continuation of the last story, so that's cool. Is this as good as the previous story? I personally don't think so. But we do get more of Cole, of the crazy scientist doctor dude, which is cool. We get more of Charlie, and more of the lady that he kind of saw as like a surrogate mother, weird sort of sexual. I don't know what's going on with that, but we get more of her in this. And while it may not be as enjoyable as particularly a previous one was, I think it still is a fairly good little short novella if you want your spookiness put in there. So we do see Cole again, but he looks a bit monstrous when we first see him. We have Maggie, who, had originally sent Charlie up to the moon to get fixed up because he shot up like a whole family. We learn that Cole's first name is Barry because that's what Maggie calls him. He doesn't like it. And it's been 1 year since the first book. We also learn that the gentle part of Charlie got put as some sort of satellite, which has been going over to, I think, Saturn. It was. And on Saturn is this cathedral ships, which have drowned into the sea or something. Now, the cathedral ships, I think it's just some cool little world building here. Cathedral ships are, they were commissioned by the Catholic Church, which just, you send these cathedrals up in space, these cathedral space stations, I guess, to spread the word of God throughout the stars. And I think that's pretty cool. But on this drowned cathedral, where the satellite brain of Charlie goes, there's this weird centipede. Interesting, because in the previous book we had the big motif of the spiders on the moon, but now here we got centipedes. Now Frankie and CY Coy, who are little minions for Maggie, are supposed to go and retrieve the gentle part, or not gentle. They're supposed to retrieve grub from the moon base, but will they make it back? Read the book to find out. We also deal a lot with body dysmorphia and positivity. And Maggie, when I read the first book, I'd imagine Maggie is a very, slender, kind of pale, sort of mafia, Slender Man-esque lady, maybe even the mom from Coraline, not necessarily that scary looking, but more of akin to that. But apparently she's fat, like borderline obese, which is not a problem, but she acts very tough and strong, but also nobody really values her like that. But it seemed like Charlie kind of did, which she appreciated. There's also unfortunately some sexual assault here between her and Cole, but you can read the book for that. I'm not getting into that. We also have this interesting thing of an eye in Jupiter. We have this whole idea of the moon being an old god's skull, maybe. And what about this eye on Jupiter? I don't know. It's just really gets the brain stimming for some ancient cosmic horrors, And beyond that, I think the rest of the story kind of gets spoiled if you talk about it. So I would read this. Yes, absolutely. It is a lot of fun. I'm gonna go through this man's entire catalog now, just because these stories have been so engaging and entertaining. So I'm gonna go through all of his short fiction. I mean, it's really good, in my personal opinion. It's not as good as the last one. I do think it drags a little bit, but by and large, I mean, it's only like what 70 pages or whatever. Like, I think it's ridiculous that I have to pay $13 for this, but other than that, I mean, like, it is a good time. So I recommend it. I have only a slight spoilers, so if you don't want that, leave. Okay, so the centipede, whose name is Bishop, by the way, consumes Grub, because Grub ends up there, and Charlie, and some baby spiders that were inside Grub's head. So we get this whole like monster thing that has like the memories of Charlie and Grub combined into one, but also with the Bishop centipede thing. And it basically takes Maggie and consumes her, I think. And that's kind of like the ending of the story ultimately. Um, it's interesting. But then also in the background, we have the girl from the first book, Victoria, as she's now like this spider queen, and she's doing stuff, and she's like sending priests to get coal on Earth, but then also like is she trying to like invade Earth? Like what's her ultimate goal? All this stuff is like being perpetuated in the background. It's all very interesting and cool. But like this entire series could have been like an entire novel worth of stuff. But we're just getting a bunch of these little vignette short stories about it, which is still pretty cool. But I'm hoping the Lunar Gothic trilogy becomes like an actual like novel instead of just a novella, because this stuff is really good. Like if we can get an expansion in this world, I would love to see it. But as you can tell, I'm very excited because it's a lot of fun, and it's short and it doesn't take too long to finish. But it's so engaging and atmospheric, and I don't think it. I don't. I'm Jimmy Nuts from Fantasy Network claimed that this was some sort of very grotesque. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a desensitized bastard, but it wasn't that bad for me. So I've seen worse. Um, but your mileage may vary. You may find this very disturbing and disgusting. For me, it was a normal Tuesday. I've watched The Walking Dead. Get out of here. But I do think it's worth your time. If you enjoy any type of horror, or you know, you're like a space opera, old sci-fi, like 1950s person, and you want to get a little bit of sprinkle of horror in there, I think that fits that vibe perfectly. So anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.